Hi, I'm very caffeinated. I'm also, again, filming this the day before. It's like 3 p.m. I'm really making bad time. Oh my God. I tried. I did it 1 week. Better than usual. What can I say? Hi, it's Kendall. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're not new around here, what is up, skillet biscuit? And happy Saturday. If you don't know what Saturday is when I take the time to do a little something on my channel called Bad Movies in a Beat, a series on my channel where I talk about bad movies while putting my makeup on. If I'm looking a little tired, it's because I am, because my whole sleep schedule was thrown off. Dunkin' Donuts has cereal now, coffee cereal, and it didn't occur to me that the caffeine would keep me up. And I have like allergies, so I had allergies and caffeine riding through my veins because I eat cereal at night. There's that. That's how I've been. And welcome to the chaos. I hope you're gonna have fun. So last time on Bad Movies in a Beat, we talked about not a bad movie, a movie that had me thinking a lot, thinking out loud, having a lot of opinions about, you know, social structures, socioeconomic stuff, you know, race, gender, all the fun stuff. A little bit more of a serious Bad Movies in a Beat when we talked about I Care a Lot. So if you haven't checked that out, it was quite the discussion. It was so nice. But if you wanted a bit of the respite, so to speak, from all of this stupidity, feel free to check that out up above, or you can check it out in a Bad Movie in a Beat playlist. Side note, I don't remember what was happening, but I was going through looking at Bad Movies in a Beat, the entire playlist, and apparently that playlist has been seen 1.8 million times. Yes, let the chaos play in the background as I'm feeding my children. One of my favorite things is when people send me videos of their pets watching the videos. It just makes me feel so warm and fuzzy inside. So this week though, like I alluded to, we're stepping away from the seriousness and we're getting into some good old stupid. I'm actually super excited about that. Also, I'm very caffeinated, so if I seem even more, you'd think I would have learned the lesson from the cereal. But this week I decided to take a break from all of the like hyper sexual movies. I don't know if I've actually been watching a whole lot of them, but it does feel like in the last maybe 2 months, I've seen a lot of like very sexual movies, and they're hilarious and very easy to make fun of oftentimes. In an effort to step away from those, like I'm just not in the mood to be romantic, I decided to step back into something I'm gonna refer to as the Miosha-verse. If you don't know who Miosha is the name of my friend who, for all intents and purposes, can be thanked for this series because she is the reason why I love bad movies. In the summer of 2017, I would go to her apartment and she'd just be playing, oh God, just some god-awful something in the background. And we've talked about, I believe, 2 movies so far that she was watching one time when I went over her apartment. That was The Man in 3B and Teeth. And so today, we're returning back to, I don't want to call these her recommendations. We're gonna look at another film she was talking about, the 2010 comedy horror called Rubber. Now, if I recall correctly, I had never seen this film, but I remembered her saying that she had watched it and it was, you know, on par with the other foolishness that she had mentioned to me in the past. I don't even know where to start. This movie is about a rubber tire with psychokinetic murderous intent. He has a vendetta of some sort, powers that he uses to roll through the California desert, just go on a murderous rampage. It's a killer tire. Yes, welcome back to the beauty of the Hear Me Out film universe as well. If you don't know what a Hear Me Out film is, it's the cute little terminology we've given it on this channel about any film that is just in its premise so preposterous that it must have been made by a group of drunk people who just said, hey, hear me out, killer tires. It's a beautiful subgenre on this here series of videos that I make. It's always a fun way to kind of watch a film that is so stupid, but it also has this beautiful, pungent sense of self-awareness that I really appreciate. Like, they know they're making a garbage movie. And what's really funny, I think, about this film in particular is that not only does it really relish in the kind of campish stupidity about making a film about like a murderous tire, you can tell that whoever made this film is just doing it as a big FU to art people, and you know how I feel about that. Love that every day. This film is just a giant FU to all forms of like respectable art house cinema, and I love that in a way that's so unapologetic. I know you're sitting there like, what the hell is she doing with her makeup? I don't know. I never know. We just end up somewhere by the end of it and just hope we like it, okay? It's always funny when people are like, I don't know where you're going with your makeup. And they say that as if I do. Like, literally, I'm just here like, ooh, colors. I can't help but applaud it for all the, like, the work that goes into making such a stupid, flaming pile of garbage. And I highly recommend, if you've never seen it, it's on Tubi. So that's when you know you're watching some quality. It's free with ads on Tubi. Anyway, without further ado, this is Rubber. Film begins in the sort of open desert somewhere. I'm guessing like California, maybe Nevada, some like undisclosed desertous area. And you get all these like artsy shots of chairs out here in the dry heat of the desert. In the solemn silence of nothingness stands a man holding binoculars. In comes a reckless driver, meticulously driving over all of these chairs that are there for no reason. Once the car reaches the front of the road, out comes a man from the trunk, a police officer more specifically, holding a random glass of water and referring to the audience by breaking the fourth wall. He begins to acknowledge one of the beauties of this film very early, and it prepares you mentally for it. And this is when I knew, as stupid as this movie is undoubtedly going to be, I have a lot of respect for the creators of said film. Basically, he's like, look, this film isn't gonna make any sense. We're not gonna require us to have any form of continuity. No, we're not gonna understand anything by the end of it. You know why? Because we're gonna use a cop-out of how life has no reason. So don't expect to get one from this film.
The film you are about to see today is an homage to the no reason.
Completely absolved itself from making sense. Because here I am. I'm a person that likes to nitpick things that don't make sense. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I can't even do that because they say, look, bitch, we're not gonna hold ourselves to the standard of making sense in film. And I know it was just so it can get away with having a killer tire. Like, we're not gonna explain the backstory. We're not gonna explain anything about why there's a spirit of a murderous something inside the tire. We don't have to do that. That was kind of a boss move. They said, bitch, we don't need to make sense. Sit there and enjoy the movie. And I kind of love it. I'm kind of living for it. And beyond the nonsensical nature of a tire killing things with its mind, it also said, no, we're not even gonna have like solid plot progression points. Like, we're not even gonna tell a story in a way that people usually do, like introducing characters, letting you know who they are and why they're important. We don't have to do none of that. That's for basic bitches. You're here to watch a movie. We don't know what we're doing either. Got hammered drunk and said killer tire. Now watch the damn movie. Somebody funded this. The boldness. I love that. So the guy with the binoculars, I'm gonna call him Glasses because nobody in this movie really has a name. And he takes these binoculars and he goes over to random ass people. We don't know who they are. We never really know who they are, why they're there, like why they're chosen of all people. He goes up to these people and he's like, take these binoculars and look out. Look out where? Look out for what? You don't know. They just look out. And then from like a junkyard, you see arise from the ashes the tire. And we're watching Rubber come to life. And again, as stupid as this movie is, you gotta acknowledge that there was some meticulousness, I suppose, that went into it. Because I'm sitting there this whole time like, hey, throughout the movie, they're gonna have this tire emote, right? And they do so by moving it in very particular ways. And I'm like, okay, we can talk about how bad it is. However, that's kind of impressive. It's kind of impressive. It doesn't have a face, so it's not like it can emote with eyes and stuff. And I'm like, okay, they really give themselves a challenge. Real recognizes real. I applaud it. But yes, swiftly you start to recognize that they're like trying to give it a story, like a coming of age. Watch as it, you know, stumbles through life, you know, coming into its own murderous intent. You watch as it wobbles down the dirt road as like a whimsical piccolo plays in the background, and as it figures out its lonely, lonesome way through the world. And even early in the tire's life, there was a malice, kind of a methodical evil within it. It starts by like slowly building up its murderous intent. It rolls over a bottle at first, which I started thinking, rubber and plastic, are those like fam? Is that like a cousin you ran over? Then it runs over a scorpion. And then it meets its first foe that it can't simply run over and crush, which is a glass bottle. And this is the first time we as an audience watch as the tire thinks it to death. a Virgo? Does that? As the Tyre is navigating its clumsy way through the world, discovering its powers, we have these random people who are like the onlookers of its life. The onlookers are just genuinely the worst, the biggest downside of this film. It's like whenever it goes to them, I'm like, oh, you see these onlookers and it's like, oh, here we go. We gotta listen to them talk about nothing, like truly nothing. But they're there with their binoculars, talking with each other, watching as the Tyre gets progressively more evil. But after a long day of discovering itself, Rubber is finally ready to go to bed, and so it kind of plops down under a shady tree in the middle of the desert until the next morning. Meanwhile, the onlookers also decide to like camp out and wait for it to arise in the morning, which I know they say I'm not supposed to ask questions, but this is just so against my nature. What the hell are they doing there? They also end up starving throughout most of the movie, right? They're not eating while they were on looking at this Tyre, and I'm just like, I know you said don't ask questions, but I just can't not ask questions. What the hell is going on? They're like so devoted to the job, they don't just go home. I assume it's a job. We never even know if they're getting paid. So next day, Tyre arises and decides that it really wants to go for some chaos. So we see a small rodent, a bunny, and yeah, this movie's really big on killing animals. So if that's greatly disturbing to you, I have no idea whether or not actual animals were harmed in the making of this film. I really hope not. I'd really hope that a bunny didn't lose his life to make this shit, but he explodes the bunny. But yeah, I don't know why that's such a trope in horror movies. I guess it's because like only a psychopath would hurt an animal for no reason like that, but it's still like, ugh. Next up, we meet Chick with Bangs. Again, no one has an actual identity in this movie. I don't think they ever even mention her name. So Chick with Bangs. Chick with Bangs is going down the street, down the highway, and Tyre ends up presumably blowing out her engine in an effort to get to her first. But before it can, it gets ran over by a semi-truck. After being thrown off the road, Rubber kills a crow. Again, no animal makes it. No animal makes it alive. Okay, we're like 25 minutes in, and that's where we get our first official human kill of the movie. Again, it is a horror movie, so we know what we're looking for. At a gas station, and as you would imagine with his telekinetic powers, of course I can't show it. Have you ever seen a watermelon implode on itself because you wrapped a bunch of rubber bands around it? Similar vibe. Now, I consider skipping this part, and I'm largely going to because, of course, there has to be something mildly rapey in any horror movie because they just can't avoid doing that. There is no sexual assault between the Tyre and the woman with the bangs, but it does end up following her to, well, it is still sexual assault. It's just like not, I don't even like saying it, the R word. The Tyre watches her take a shower, and the onlookers watch the Tyre watch her take a shower, and there's a lot of like very aggressive sexual conversation about the Tyre having sex with this woman. And again, my least favorite parts of this movie are when the onlookers are speaking at all. But fret not, they won't last long through the movie. At least not the entire movie. Justice shall come. Okay, so the dude with the glasses, right? He gets a call while he's staying at presumably the same hotel that the girl is staying at. And he's like, hello, master. He's referring to whoever on the other side is master. Taking this phone call, presumably getting instructions to do something. And then the camera pans. The camera pans, and my got a turkey in the room. Just a live bird just staring up at him. And you can tell that the turkey looks concerned. The turkey looks worried. And the next thing you know, you hear some distressed gobble gobbles. You know, ain't no other animal survived this movie thus far. At least you can eat this one. He ends up killing and cooking the turkey, and he brings it to the observers. And when I say brings it, he brings it like they're a bunch of lions. He just throws it on the dirt floor. You couldn't bring paper plates? Like you couldn't. Only one person opts out of eating the turkey, and it's this one guy who's just very silent and stoic, and he's in a wheelchair. Again, I'd prefer to give him a name, but he has no other descriptor than silent, stoic guy in a wheelchair. Back at the hotel, the Tyre is interrupted from taking a shower by the cleaning lady at the motel. She sees it in the shower, and then she's like, oh, some weirdos left a Tyre in the shower, so she like throws it out on the street. Angry and dismayed, the Tyre gets up rolls its way back into the room and locks the door, presumably to perform another act of murderous aggression. When the tire rolls into the room, one person actually sees it. A teenage boy who presumably works at the hotel? I don't know, but he ends up seeing this tire, and so he goes to his dad, I think. They don't explain how they know each other, but I assume that's his father. And he's like, yo, I just saw a living tire, like... He's like, dog, I just saw a living tire. We gotta do something about that. And so obviously his father is like, boy, get the hell out of my face with this foolishness. And he's like, nah, seriously, dad, I saw like a living tire and it locked the door behind him. Like, what's going on with that? And he's like, boy, get the hell out of my face and go get me a pizza. By the way, I haven't mentioned this yet, but I found out after watching the film, which kind of explained some of the weirdness around like dialogue in this film, is that it was actually made in France or by a French company or something, or French writers. So there are parts of the dialogue that are just weird. They're not incorrect grammatically, but you can tell that something's just a wee bit off. The smelly smell that smells smelly. French dude that's like, yeah, Americans like pizza. And so he's like, go get me a pizza, boy. Shut your dumb ass up. So off teenage child goes to get a pizza. Now, after his last murder, Tyre ends up, again, stalking the girl with the bangs. She's like swimming in a pool. She gets out of the pool, puts her bare feet in some like leather boots. Disgusting. Do you know how it's like, you know she stank. Like, you know, there's like a moldy from the calf down. Disgusting. Anyway, she just walks right past the tire and it doesn't kill her or anything. It's just like marveling at her beauty. She's the one like inexplicable thing that it doesn't want to kill, I guess. Okay, so the kid goes to get the pizza and he ends up seeing the dead crow on the floor or on the ground from earlier, and he's like, okay, you, dad, and puts the dead crow pieces on the pizza. Children are a menace. People look at me crazy when I say I don't know if I want them. Cause your dad said, stop bothering me. And we look at the dad as the villain, girl. But you gonna poison your dad with dead raw crow because he said, get out of my face, I don't believe a tire is alive? F that kid, like seriously. Back at the hotel, Tyre goes for a swim. That's all you need to know about that. It's just a very ominous scene of the tire rolling into the pool. The next scene, everybody that ate that turkey from earlier dies. They did. Stone cold dead. The only man, of course, that didn't die is the man that did not eat the turkey. The guy in the wheelchair is like, they poisoned it. There's so many questions that start running through my head, like, who? And also, why do you know that? And also, why didn't everybody just leave? Why did y'all starve yourself and then eat this dirty turkey that he threw on the floor? I have so many questions. How can I not overanalyze this? Honestly, this entire movie is just one big test of patience. The kid with the pizza comes back to the motel and he discovers the body of the dead cleaning lady. The police are called in. This happens. I considered not even bringing it up, but it was just so random that I just... The teenager tries to tell the police that the person that killed the cleaning lady is not a person, it's a tire. And of course, no one believes him. Also, if you were wondering, yes, the dad does eat the pizza. The police end up saying that they are the ones that ended up poisoning all the onlookers. Don't ask why. Don't stop asking why. We're just gonna both be frustrated by the end of this. Just keep... They poison it. And now that we poisoned them, we're done acting. This was all an illusion. None of this is real. No one's spectating anymore. Go home. And the other police officers are like, dude, we have a dead body. It's like missing a head. And he's like, none of this is real. You can shoot me and it wouldn't kill me. Everything is but an illusion, man. And I just love it. I love how you know it's making fun of some art film and that just makes, oh, I love it. This is all but an illusion. But is the cleaning lady actually dead? Yes, she is no longer, she is headless. Like she is no longer with us. Very much so, you know, Sleepy Hollow, Headless Horseman. They're very much no longer with us, deceased, passed on. So the dude with the glasses comes down and he comes to the police officer. Apparently they're in cahoots and he's like, one man remains. One man did not eat the turkey. And he's like, really? And then the officer is like, we have to go back to acting. One man still remains. Another police officer is like, we still got a dead body over here. So like, okay. So the police officer goes to interview the dad from earlier. I assume he's the owner of the motel. I don't know. And he's kind of interviewing him about his relationship with the dead cleaning lady. And while that's happening, boom! Poof goes his head. For some reason, the tire doesn't kill the police officer, but we still got some movie left, so I'm sure that's why. The tire rolls away, stares at itself in the mirror as it descends further into madness, as flashing of memories play over and over and over again as it spirals into madness. And now the police are on the lookout for the tire. The guy with the glasses goes back to the last spectator guy and he tries to offer him a bunch of food and he doesn't take it because obviously last time you brought somebody a snack, they all dropped dead. So obviously I don't want anything you're serving, sir. The guy with the glasses ends up eating it and ha 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 ha, he also drops dead. Stupid. Slowly. It was taking a lot of time. And he was very loud. Oh, it burns. I'm like, can you die quieter? But while that's happening, Tyre is he's on a roll. And he's just taking everybody out in sight. He took out like a police officer and just women, men. And at some point during his rampage, a random person ends up throwing him in a bonfire full of other tires. I don't know why. I don't know. It just seems bad for the environment to me, but okay. Fret not. This is not the end of the movie. It only makes him grow stronger. I don't know. And in a true display of police incompetence, these three human beings are not able to stop the menacing, rolling, serial killing escapades, and it's truly just hilarious to me. All 12 people in a 30-mile radius just getting their heads squirted out like Play-Doh people. And it's like claymation. And y'all can't do nothing to stop it. But instead of doing that, they play chess. They decide to lure it out instead of just shooting it by bringing in a mannequin and letting the chick with the bangs talk aggressively to it. The dude in the wheelchair goes to the police officer and the girl with the bangs and is like, can you hurry up? Which honestly, this scene took way too long, at the end of which the tire explodes the mannequin's head. In a frustrated haze, eventually, that's what the cop does, just goes in there and shoots it one time. Off camera too, super anticlimactic, but that's no way to end the movie. Apparently, the spirit of the tire was still alive, and it ended up just transferring over to a tricycle inside of the house. And so now, instead of a murderous tire, it's a murderous tricycle. So it rolls out of the building, goes up to the guy with the wheelchair. The guy with the wheelchair is like, I'm not a part of the movie. I'm just observing. I'm just seeing what you do. And then it, him. The tricycle sees the girl with the bangs, opts out of killing her for some reason. I'm not even gonna question it at this point. And in the final scene, as energetic synth pop dramatically plays in the background, the tricycle rides all the way back into suburbia, beckoning other tires hither, thither, and therefore to rise, with him. They all wait ominously at the top of the hill, waiting to descend on the unexpecting public. But before it can do so, the screen goes to black, alluding to a sequel. Which I don't know if they ever made that or not, but that's the end of the movie. Is it weird that I want to put gloss just on the top lip? As far as the movie goes, loved it, hated it. Love hated it, lated it. Beautifully trash. I think if you go into the movie realizing it's about a killer tire, so what expectations are you supposed to have about it? You recognize that you're ultimately just there to have a good time. We could talk about how stupid it is, but there is something truly genius in its stupidity. I don't want to watch it again. It's a lot slower pace than you would think would be appropriate, but I think that's partially because, again, it's very self-aware. It's making fun of art house film, and I just love that. But if you like this video, feel free to like this video, comment, and subscribe, and also put on your bell notification. I didn't even know you could do this. I very recently realized that they've really updated the analytics thing that I can see, and now I can see the percentage of people that have notifications on. More of you! More people! Put on thy notifications! No, quite a bit of you do, but I would appreciate it. Follow me on all my social media, Instagram, Twitter, and other places that you'd be shocked that I reside, all of which are KennyJD. And I will see you guys next time. Peace. Oh no, I got gloss on the lower lip.